Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back for another recap review show here at Big Go Belt Media for Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 4, Episode 2, title It's All Love. This episode is written by Dylan C. Brown and directed by Monty DeGarf. Lucas and I are here to break it all down each and every week, as you all know. And in the past, it is after the episode drops, but in some changes and whatnot, you can catch this recap Friday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time, which is 6 Pacific. With that being said, we really appreciate you all for showing up last week. I have to be honest, I had numerous talks with Lucas, and and obviously not by our choice, I'll say, but it was concerns about the viewership and participation from you all, because you all are used to us delivering that show immediately after the episode airs. You know, and that's just the culture of this Power Universe thing, is that after the show airs, people are looking to talk about it, because on the other end, people are looking to spoil it. So people are looking to get there and be a part of the conversation while it's fresh, without anybody ruining their experience for them. But again, things have changed, and it's okay. There's nothing on our end, and nothing with any of our collaborations and access or anything of that sort. It's just what it is, and here we are. We're going to make sure each and every week you get that recap the following day, so that Friday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time, 6 a.m. Pacific. And we definitely appreciate you all for the love, all the folks that said they missed us, and all the folks that I thought might not show up because it wasn't when y'all expected it, and y'all sure did. So I am deeply I'm humbled, one, but I have so much gratitude for it, and we're going to do what we do. Along with that, though, there's other content, interviews. So we're going to continue to have that. So just keep your eyes glued on the channel at all times, because you just never know when something's going to drop, and there's definitely some stuff in the can. Just have to wait till the appropriate episode can release. So with that being said, Lucas, how you doing tonight?
Oh man, that was so political. I absolutely loved it. Felt like I was listening to Elon in the White House right there. That was so political.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah. I guess this is the truth.
This is Big Go Belt's Power Podcast, brought to you by Doge. So
but episode 2, what an episode. A lot of different things has happened. Definitely got to tell you, I want to go. First of all, before we get into it, just overall, what did you think about this episode?
This was kind of the episode we were expecting the season to start off with. So, and we kind of said that, like, after the first episode, which, I mean, still a good episode, it kind of felt like it was a filler, in a sense that it was set up just to give you enough backstory to formulate exactly what you were going to get this season. And in this episode, you understand why. Because now that you know the dominoes that are on the table, you can understand more how those pieces are moving around. Especially Unique. Unique is the most important part, and the reason, and we said it last week, he's the reason why you needed that episode. Because you need to understand clearly this Big Gold Belt term. The heel turn that he's currently going through is John Cena, as he's decided just to go straight out all evil Unique all of a sudden, and you wouldn't have fully understood that if you didn't have last episode.
Yeah.
So it flowed better, and it gives you that introduction into the season that I think a lot of people was waiting for.
Yeah, agreed. And I did see a comment. I think that listened half to what we said last week, because there wasn't a knock on last week's episode. It was just it was criticism that this was an unusual start to it. And I fully trust Sasha Penn. He operates and has created one of the best series within the Power Universe, and with all the cancellations of the other shows and whatnot, and some of them just ran their course. But like, not only that, but they re-up and gave them a whole nother spinoff. So clearly they see what all of us see as well too. And I think that with that measure, I mean, with those facts and with that evidence, I think there's enough to say like, well, trust the process with this guy. And that's what I've always been on with him now 4 seasons and origin somewhere around the corner. So no, I was just saying like it was unusual, but it was cool because I do think, much like you said, we are really starting to see maybe power go in a different format. So, and the one thing I will say, like, if you have been a part of the Power universe, and I mean, like, all the folks that's been, you know, in some measure in terms of participation, whether actor, producer, writer, whatever, it's good quality television. But I believe they are starting to get that itch to wanting the awards behind it. And I do think if you're going to do that, you're going to have to step out of this genre just a little bit. Now, yes, I know Michael Rainey did win the NAACP Image Award, and rightfully so. But there might have been other times where you could have said, hello, patina's right here. And there hasn't even been a whisper of it. So I definitely think they're just doing a lot of changes to really position themselves better in these in-season awards, end of the year awards. And it does comes with little subtle changes such as that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Now let's get into this episode here. Starting off at boot camp. Now, I ain't gonna lie. As soon as I saw this, I thought Major Pain. I thought they were just gonna go crazy. I did not think there was gonna be one bit of seriousness in this. I really was just waiting for some foolishness to go.
The point that Major Pain is what popped into your head. Not G.I. Jane, not Platoon, none of them jokes. You said Major Pain out of all.
Yeah, there was not an inch of seriousness in my body when I saw that. I really thought they were going to do something crazy here. But Juke's at basic training, and she's looking pretty good. I mean, she was a clean shot. She was kind of outrunning them fools. I will also say that looks like Juke bulked up a little bit, if I must say. Like, you know, so I think this is Juke is really starting to come across as one of those folks around the way that you said, man, they had all the potential to do this, and this, and they never ever succeeded in them, because we knew she's a musician, so she has the talent there, and it looks like she wanted to do the military. She would have just been right in doing so there. I mean, there's just a lot that you just said, like everything that she did at a high level, potentially could have made a career out of it, but she just is still trying to find herself. So
yeah,
I'm not sure if you want to tap into it just yet, but what initially was your thoughts about seeing Juke, who in one moment, which was 3 months ago, by way of the last episode, was curious about the military, and then we see that she decided to try it out.
I'll keep it simple. It felt like the beginning of formulating the Jukebox we knew from the original Power series. Because, I mean, it's clearly an easy correlation between police and military. Yeah. So I was like, okay, so we're about to see the beginning of the transformation into the Jukebox that we all knew. So that's why I love the beginning here of just showing her in this aspect, because then you get to see this is probably why she was not only a cop, but she was a good cop, and that's what threw it off in the original Power. She's a really good cop, and now we're understanding why. These are skills that she has.
Yeah. Now, and listen, the one thing I will say, because I think when you think about her in the original Power as a cop, you say she was a dirty cop, and a lot of times when you sort of equate one's trajectory to being a dirty cop, you think there's a measure of them having issues with following authority. I think here is a clear indication that it was never that. It was never that she couldn't take, because we didn't never have a moment of her being combative against, her drill instructor when they're giving directions. Because you see that trope all the time where they just problem child, went to military, roughed all the feathers, eventually got straight, came out and was like, a normal citizen. But here we see again just a curious kid looking for her path, her way. She went there and she did it, and she did it good. She just didn't like what it stood for, and eventually she said, "This isn't going to work for me." And I think that's a very honest decision, and the wherewithal to make that decision is, in fact, brave. And in fact, you do tip to have Taurus. So, and if you want to look at anything with this military little stint with her, I see it as a absolute positive check on her for what we know her to be.
Exactly.
But you do see the skills develop. Subject. Yeah,
they tackled the don't ask, don't tell subject.
Yeah,
which I mean, right now it's a lot of people who may be watching us that don't necessarily know that what that practice was back in the 90s. Guess what? Wasn't that long ago. Don't ask, don't tell was, I want to say, a good maybe 25, 30 years ago. Yeah. So this is a different time where you couldn't be part of the community, and I love that they play that angle here, because it just shows just how Juke's morals never switch. Yeah. She's always going to be the same way. And even in this situation where she's thriving, she understood, I can't hide who I am for anybody.
Yep. All right. So the police department now, we got the commissioner making a statement to the press about Detective Howard and Ronnie and their murders, and coming to the conclusion that they were working together. Foreign nationals were basically was the ones who were responsible for this. A member of the press asked about Burke, and they conclude this press conference by saying the investigation is done. Detective Bartiz, on the other half, gives this very eerie look, because we knew he was going to have something to say. We'll talk about what he had to say in a minute. I tell you what,
talk about what he going to say. We're going to talk about what he said. We just going to also address, he didn't say none of this for Burke. Just keep that in mind. None of this was for Burke.
I was literally about to say, I absolutely love that the Burke storyline continues, and the ramifications of it, I think, is going to be pretty big soon. And I still think her father is out there, and he's going to have something to say on one of this. I knew y'all was covering something up type of thing, because they essentially said that Burke incident was of her own, and it does not define the corruption or the image of anything in this office. So they said Burke's done, Howard's done, we're moving on. And that didn't sit right with no one. But we'll talk about that a little bit more.
We would have had a time in the 90s in NYPD where they threw a white woman under the bus. Like, come on, man. So that is wild.
Well, the white man said, I'm not going down for nothing. So, everybody. Which is again, I said we're going to talk about Bartiz in a minute. Well, which is interesting, because Bartiz said exactly what I was going to say. My man got 6 months, and he's going to be next. Because at some point, if it starts to get too hot, they're absolutely going to put it on the lead person of that department.
No. Don't say the lead person department. The nigga. He did it. He did it. Get all of you DEI highs out of here.
Andre Barnes is a character we're introduced to, and he is Rock's lawyer, and basically told Rock and Marvin that they're good. I am going to jump the gun just a little bit in here and say I was getting ready to be super intrigued by this character, because by the end of the episode, we see my man has a lot of connections, and this is not just normal lawyer's play, because in the Power Universe, we always talk about our favorite lawyers, from the Davises to the Proctor. Yeah. And we love these characters. I want to say trope, but essentially empower the lawyer character, the dirty cop. These are tropes that, we our attendance goes up because we know exactly what they're going to bring. And we see that Andre made an impact super quick. In one episode, he got B-Rilla out of jail. He said he made it connect there. He knows exactly what's happening in terms of who's on the radar from the Alphabet Boys. So he said, Marvin and Rock, you all are good. I mean, the police department is still in shambles, but they're not even looking at y'all right now. And they even then brokered a parlay the deal with Rock to say, hey, the FBI will give you a get out of jail for free card if you get something on Stefano. So what's up? And he's orchestrating all of this only to catch a bullet by Unique. I hate it, but
always keep in mind, as we say, power doesn't give you hints of a character without it being ramifications if something happens to that
exactly. Yep.
To have that many connections, you don't have them just because you know people. You normally have them because you work for people. And it's going to be questions on why he is dead.
Yeah.
And someone's going to have to answer for those.
Yeah. I think, if I'm not mistaken, who does he work for? Yeah, this is Ghost's great grandfather. That's what it is. That's the connection.
No, I got you. It ain't
Ghost. Oh, no, here you go. Who?
It's Terry Silver's. Terry even look a little bit like him.
That's funny as
Silver's
shit.
Great grandfather.
That's funny as shit. Who's the other character they always want to know who he really is when he's gonna appear? I forget. I haven't. No, but close. I haven't trolled in a while, and I feel like I need to troll. But like, who? It's it'll come to me.
The cop.
No.
Damn it! I know who you talk about, and I can't remember.
Yeah.
They've been searching for him for 4 years on Raising Kanan.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So Unique now he's stopping past his old crib. We got the eviction notice. He looks at the chessboard, the chess checkerboard, and he flips out. It's just a shot. It just lets you know where his mind is at and whatnot.
Yeah.
Kanan at his spot getting his inventory together. OC is a character. Looks to be one of Kanan's trusted runners, but as we know now, he is somebody who's really good with numbers. Strange, as Crystal said, but he's loyal. It seems like Kanan taking a liking to him, which is interesting because, Kanan's been a little bit of a hothead, and as much as he kicked out Famous of his own place, looks like he's definitely digging OC. But Crystal comes in, and you can just tell she has something to say. But she is 100% into Kanan, and she's making it known. Oh, and Breeze is who I was thinking about, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm just so over the Breeze thing. I couldn't even think of his damn name. But yeah, Andre Breeze Barnes. That's who it was.
Oh man.
Next, we got Marvin picking up Lou, getting him from rehab. Brothers just doing brother things there. Kanan and Crystal making out. So this is, I don't even know what I would want to say about this.
Oh, the downfall.
You think?
We're not gonna lie about it here. The beginning of every drug kingpin's downfall is a woman.
Or mink coat, but I got you.
For Kanan, it's gonna be a leather jacket. Preferably Tommy Hilfiger or Ralph Lauren because it's the 90s. So, but yes, we see this angle. We know what's about to go on here. She's getting involved in the business. She's questioning things about the business. We understand their past and what happened in the past and what will most likely happen in the future. Yeah. And we see okay, this is not the best for Kanan because it's taking them off focus.
Okay,
on what you should be focusing on.
Do you think she's not an asset to him at all here?
No.
Okay.
I think she is a distraction to him.
Yeah.
We have not seen Kanan be the best multitasker.
Yeah.
And we know he falls quick. Those are two things that he needs to do in this. And then we find out later on in the episode with the way these ramifications are working against him, I don't think that she's someone he can lean on because she's not accustomed to this lifestyle. It's not a lifestyle she's accustomed to living. She fell in love with a dope boy.
Yeah.
And as a great philosopher said, Sean J.C. Carter, once you in jail, she on to the next one. Like it ain't like she waiting around for you. So I just don't see this being positive for Kanan, just because that's not who Kanan is.
Okay. It will be interesting to see how this one plays out. But yeah, she asks Kanan to get a condom. So I'm like, because yeah. But she also lets him know that she did have the abortion, and she really wanted to have the baby. She wants to be a mother. And I have to say, like, in a way, because the comments she makes afterwards are just kind of really like below the belt. But like, she's hurt because Kanan made her make a decision that she really didn't want to make, and he was very cold about it. And but also at the same time too, like, she also just told my man to get a condom because she's trying to smash again. I'm just like, you gotta let that thing breathe for a minute, man. It's a lot going on right now.
Gotta let that little wound heal.
It's a lot going on right now.
Who that remind you of though? Because this was a callback for me.
For what?
If this ain't what's their last name? Damn it. I can't make the joke proper because I cannot remember the there you go. This is Crystal Tejada. Because this is damn sure Diana with Tariq. Same thing. Only difference is she asked for the condom. In the first one, Tariq was like, nah, where the condom at? Same thing. Same exact thing. Same reason too. Like, like, again, women are emotional in those time periods, especially here, because Crystal's a kid. Like, we really got to keep in mind they are two below 18-year-olds here.
Yeah.
And she had to go through that. So of course she's gonna want to protect herself moving forward, because that's not something, I mean, at that age to go through it's a trauma that will live with you forever. Yeah. And that's what she doesn't want to go through again. So it made perfectly good sense here. Kanan is being a dude, and you can't be mad at him. He's a kid. He's just like, I know what I want, and we'll just do it and be fine anyway. So, you don't expect them to fully understand the ramifications of their actions here. So I did like the way this scene is formulated, because if Kanan had started talking like an adult, it would have made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
That he's talking like I did when I was 17. Like,
and I mean that's the very consistent. That's the very consistent of the shows, that they never let Kanan mature, which I will talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But we did talk about that last week as well. But after that though, she does make the comment about him and his mother's relationship, calls her pretty fucked up, then also does the emotional response to saying, I know you're talking to other girls, I'm not stupid, which, by way of the viewers right now, it's not to say that we don't think Kanan would talk to other girls, but we actually haven't seen that, which means that was a high level, an emotional assumption that she made. Just to, again, I think it really backs the idea that she's right now like hurt. She's hurt. She's absolutely hurt. And also says fuck this and done. So which, yes, this is 100%. I mean, I got to be honest here. The writing here might have been personal for somebody, because, like, this checked every box, and we all know what this is like. We've all been here.
I hate to say yes, but this hit home. This hit home a lot. That whole conversation for me hit home three times.
He was like, all right, now let me figure out all the fucked up things I can say to you real quick. Check all the boxes for it, and then at the end it's like, fuck it. But then I'll be back later, like nothing ever happened. So just show up to your job, like, I missed you. Anywho, so the police department, we get Batiste and Garcia, and this is Batiste. He said, like, a big barrel of bullshit from the commissioner. He said the task force is not done. He says, from where I'm from, or the era I'm from, a cop, no matter good or bad cop, murder goes unanswered. And he says, I think I got about 6 more months till they give me the boot, and I want this closed. We're gonna make this a passion project if it has to be. But we're going to get this done. We're going to figure out who put Howard down. I know they're still out there. They're probably the one that took a shot at him at the park and basically puts a Wild Garcia out there on the hunt. So Lou and Marvin car ride. This is his brother bonding. I don't think there was nothing. There was just one little thing to add to really talk about here.
One part of this is highly important.
Yeah, but it was cool that to see the brothers bond, and I think Lou has so much respect for Marvin, which I do love. That little brother, big brother, and Lou has been very open about how he feels, period, across the board. But like seeing him give his brother flowers about everything and the jokes they make with one another. But then also too, you know, we hear about Famous getting the buzz from the radio, but no one knows where Famous is at. And word is that Famous caught a little bit of heat. He got the talking and then he got the running. But then, like I said, Marvin says, "You're always there for me," et cetera, et cetera. And then he asks us about Marvin and said, "What's up with like all your breathing and everything?" Marvin now was on some like, he's not with therapy no more because after what G did to him and did him wrong, Gerald, he says, fuck, he said, fuck that and fuck everyone around it. Now, to be clear, before I talk about the part, I wish he would have said this was a combination of G plus a homegirl that died in season 1. His girl that actually got him into it, because like, you know, losing somebody who got you into it, number one, and then because of you, like the things you've learned and wanting to really carry that on beyond her, then your best friend does you wrong. I think it's definitely a little bit of a bang bang in terms of how he got to that. And I think it just would have been a nice little cool callback. But he says, fuck everybody. And then Lou basically was just like, well, yeah, you ain't got to worry about that with me because, you know, I never did that to you. And he said, well, I ain't counting my eggs just yet. And that definitely was like a whoa. Super foreshadowing. Was that what you were going to bring up, or was there something else?
Definitely. No, that line there. That tells you that Marvin doesn't trust Lou at all. But what's more interesting is
why though?
He's because he sees Lou as an addict, and Marvin doesn't trust addicts because Marvin is a former addict.
No, like there's still a little bit more here that you forget. Think about last week's episode.
You talking about the father? I don't think it's the father part of it.
That's what I was going. That's what I was thinking.
The addict with the father is Lou's issue. Marvin's issue is that the father left. But Marvin is a former addict. And you know what former addicts don't do? Is trust addicts. And he can't because it's the callback to Gerald. Gerald was an addict. And he put all his trust into Gerald. And he treated Gerald like his brother. And in the end, the addict of Gerald still came out. All he's seeing is, and what he's telling his little brother is, I ain't trusting you with anything because I've already had someone show me that that's something I shouldn't do. And you are no different than him. And I think that's the key part to hear from Marvin is that if you got a flaw that he sees and it reminds him of Gerald, he's not going to trust you.
Yeah.
And that's Lou's issue. I mean, he's picking up his brother from rehab. He met Gerald in rehab. Like, it's the same thing. And he's like, I'm not putting my eggs in that basket. So no, it's not the father part. And I thought people can get that. And for me, I just don't see it because Lou is the one who had the issue with the father's usage. Marvin had an issue with the father abandoning them. But Marvin is also an addict. I mean, we all talk about how much he eats candy and snacks, and that's addict behavior. He's replacing one thing with another. But always remember, an addict broke his heart. Gerald broke Marvin. Yeah.
Very, very true. It's interesting because I now wonder what Marvin has really worked on developing a good relationship with Juke. We see it later on in the episode. They're in a good place, and for everything that it took to get to this point, it's beautiful to see. I wonder what or if there will be a relationship with Gerald's daughter and Marvin, because I could see him not holding that against her.
I mean, she lost her dad and her sister.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see, and you're right, I can see Marvin wanting to be in her life to help her.
Yep. And that'd be a beautiful thing. Honestly, though, all this Marvin stuff is scaring me, man, because I really like the character.
The foreshadowing of it is crazy where this can go to. But
working with Stefano, he's been caught leaving out with Stefano's. Stefano's gave him an IOU, but like now he's on his second mission with him. It seems like he's gonna keep using them till they get to one situation that's gonna be more than he could bite off. I mean, the FBI could, who just knows at this rate, but like we know at some point we're losing one of the Thomas members, and it ain't Rock because we know she's still alive.
We know, we know what's going on with Rock, so we know it's not her. But which one would it be?
And to me, it's like I was wrong about this in Ghost about Monet when I said like, oh, they're not going to try to kill somebody twice because they tried to kill Monet before. And then they actually really did kill her. But I'm like, they're not going to try to kill Lou again, are they?
Well, Lou is kind of still going into the lion's den. And we'll talk about it later with what he's doing now. Marvin's always a risk, though. And I think that's what makes it interesting here. Because the focus is on, and we talked about it last episode, the movement in the organization with Marvin.
Yeah.
And what is this going to mean for him? Because clearly he's on his I don't care attitude, as we see later on also in this episode.
Yeah. All right. So Kanan and Raq now, because Wood Kid doesn't go back to their parents' place to do the laundry. But he's also there to do he needs to re-up. Raq says the police are moving on, so it's not the open road here. Says she said she's going to go to Quan. And to go have a conversation with him, I guess, to try to see about getting more stuff. No need for her to go there and get a price increase. So that handles that. We see Unique's baby mom walking home, and he's looking over at her. And he just starts spazzing out. My question to you is, why do you think Unique didn't approach her?
I don't know. I'm thinking it's something to do with what the doctor said last episode, because that's the angle they're going with here. Is that the damage he suffered is mentally changing him. So maybe he just can't do it. He can't bring himself to put himself back into his son's life because maybe he knows he's not right. But then he's also jealous and all this other stuff. We'll talk when we get later on in the episode what I really think about this turn so far with Unique.
Okay.
But this has way more to do, I'm assuming, with just that his mental state is not there.
Okay. So Kanan walking at night, cop rolls up on him. It's Garcia looking for Famous. Garcia's dirty. That's it. Only that we'll say is look at Garcia as he talks trash to Kanan. There's some amazing dubbing going on here. Going up to the so it's like, how do people say words and their mouth isn't moving? I don't get that. It's a skill.
I don't know what issues they had with him, and they just said, fuck it. We'll fix it. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, there must have been an audio track that just took a shit or something. I don't know. But Lou back at the crib is trash. So this is basically we're showing Lou starting from zero. Back to the boot camp, we see one of the other soldiers, I guess you call them, at the time. Troops, yes.
Recruits.
Getting an honorable discharge. Yeah. Again, an honorable discharge because they found a gay magazine in his locker. Now, I ain't gonna lie. When I heard this, I was like, magazine? Like, I was like, oh yeah, it is the 90s. I was like, because I thought they stopped making, I was literally thinking about myself like, I thought they stopped making
magazines
and stuff. Yeah, I was like, oh, yes, the 90s, never mind. But anyway, he had a gay magazine in his locker. They found it and whatnot. So he's honorably discharged. Now, I gotta say, what's interesting is that he's honorably discharged here.
Yeah, because it should have been a dishonorable discharge.
No, that's probably what they. No. It shouldn't. It's not that it should have been, but that's what they wanted it to be.
Yeah,
that's my thing. Because when you're honorably discharged, you get your benefits,
and then I can't fully speak on it. Well, it's weird though because there's no benefits because he's still in basic training. But I mean,
the honorably discharged. Maybe it's just because that's the only stats you can get.
Maybe military folks can help us out here. I always assumed if you got kicked out of boot camp and for that reason, because back then they didn't hide the point that was something that would get you a dishonorable discharge. So, I mean, maybe it's something different. I'm not overly knowledgeable about it. I know that they definitely would have kicked you out in a heartbeat if they found any homosexual content of any form on you or any actions that you made. Like that's immediate you getting kicked out of the army and basic serve any of that. So I mean, I didn't understand it dishonorable, but I did. This was just a good moment. I talked about it earlier. This to show that Juke was like, oh no, if they can just kick you out for that, why would I be here?
Yeah, and also I will say too, you gotta think about Juke holding her composure because dude next to her was definitely he didn't have anything pleasant to say about this with all the vulgar terminology with it, and she kept her cool and she continued her exercises. So like, I think when we think about who we knew Juke to be, when we also think about who we knew Kanan to be as adults, it is nothing but their blood that actually keeps them compatible. Which is very interesting because, that's kind of how family is in a way. You don't always have to like each other, but you're family and you love each other, and whatever's going to be, whatever's going to be. It starts to really make you see sense that they're nothing alike. Juke has discipline. Juke can take instructions. Juke was trying to find her way, which is still to the point. Like we still haven't even got to the point where Juke really just says, fuck it.
Yes, exactly. But this was close because she was irritated.
Yeah.
And my man who said that I wouldn't want nobody in a foxhole to play with my butt, like my guy, if that's your thought process, I don't think he should have been the one kicked out. Maybe it should have been you, because that's not an issue. But again, we need to see this because we need to understand how rampant homophobia was in the 90s.
Yeah.
The point that this even existed is insane at one point in time. Like that would be an issue. So I think it's good to show that Juke was just like, I can't hide this part of myself to remain here.
All right. So now Marvin goes to the carryout. Obviously he's got to go see Sonny and Richard and making sure everything's going on all right. Only find the nephews out there being a thief, made him drop them draws, called him every slander possible. But Marvin makes sure business is in check. He said, like, I don't give a fuck about his mother, essentially, his sick mother. Like, we can't have everybody taxing our stuff. No one can tax our stuff, but that's just Marvin doing a check-in.
And for everybody that's ever questioned in the movie, why, when you see people bagging up drugs, they're all naked. This is why. Because you can hide anything anywhere, but if you are butt ass, there is no hiding anything.
Yeah.
This is why it's not like
they're not just horny, wanting to see naked.
Yeah, exactly. But some people thought that. Like some people always question, well, why are they all naked cutting up drugs? This is why. Because you can't hide anything when you're naked cutting up drugs.
Yeah. Anywho, so Rock goes to Quan, prices, inflation. Next we see Juke.
No. You can say it right. You can say it right. Say it right for me. We in 2025. There you go. There you go. He hit her with tariff.
He put a tariff on Southside.
He put a tariff on Southside.
So we see Juke on a bus. You would think that she was headed home, and it looks like she was coming from Columbus, Georgia, which is a long way from New York, but she's definitely on a bus somewhere, which we know later she's ended up going to Spelman. So she went to Atlanta. But anyway, Marvin and Stefano kicking back, just being boys, I guess. But as I mentioned, Stefano wants him to do another job for him. Say, just go ring this dude's bell. Nothing crazy. Lou is now at Low Street Records, and this is where we get to see. Excuse me. The owner. What was this guy's name? Lowell. And he basically compliments Lou for what he's been able to do with famous records. Said the numbers are increasing. They're gonna end up getting a plaque soon, but no one can find him because they're just like, wow, this man is like he's like thriving right now, but no one's heard or seen of him. Yeah. This famous storyline is definitely picking up a lot of steam.
Somebody tell me what this record is that's so hot in the streets. It cannot be that Streets is a Body remix. It can't be. It absolutely can't be. It just can't be. It got to be another record in the streets of famous we ain't heard, because that song can't be hot in the streets.
Body. That joint is ass.
Yeah. That is ass. We ain't gotta lie. That's what Sporty Thieves came from with No Pigeons. Like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. That song is horrible, Joe. Or Philly's Most Wanted. Like, one of them. That's what famous is with this song. I hate this song. I hate this remix, Joe. I really do.
Hey, honestly, I wanted the remix. I'm gonna continue to say this, and I'm just real pissed that it. Yeah, I'm just really pissed that it had to be this bad. Like, yeah, it's definitely.
Hey, this is like those residual challenges that are horrible, and then somebody put it on wax, and you're like, dog, like the original was hot. Like, what are y'all doing here? Streets, body. Are you crazy? Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
So you taking that, or you taking that Jello joint?
I got you here. Before I would ever listen to Streets is a Body remix, I would listen to Drip Drop from Empire.
you think that you think that you don't think the Big Baller Brand joint, you don't think that joint hit?
Oh, that Jello joint?
Yeah,
that joint is ass, Joe. I don't know why people like that. So many people was trying to hype that joint. Why is this hyped up? That song is horrible.
I might swear up in that corner. Whoa. That joint is trash.
I think it's because kids just didn't grow up with the Hot Boys, and they trying to latch on to anybody who tries to be one. They gotta be it, Joe.
It's crazy work.
Like Famous here trying to sound like a young Nas with this streets body jump.
Yeah, no.
Like, come on, dog.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
But I think the only thing that's to kind of bring up is Lowell feels like no one's beyond redemption and anybody can be saved. Yeah. I'm not sure. Oh, well, I'll just ask you now. Do you think this is somebody that Lou can trust? I mean, well, you did say you want to talk about it. Yeah, we'll get to the rest of it in a minute.
Yeah.
So Juke and Aisha, because Juke went to go see her at Spelman campus and they hug and they're very happy to see each other. Now, I will say that Aisha did not give me the impression that she wasn't excited to see her. She looked like she was surprised. So I think Juke, looking into things the way she did, I think Aisha was correct when she says, like, hey, it's okay. Juke was panicking. She was worried about everything. And I, she did do a pop-up on Shorty. So that's definitely something that you doesn't really go well for folks. But it is interesting to see that Aisha was able to kind of read that. But it's now interesting because she was so much into Juke. But now she's proclaiming that she needs time to kind of figure herself out. We'll talk about a little bit more of that in a minute. But anyway, going back to the Lou and Lowell meeting, He just says like, I believe in you, Lou. I want to sign you. I want you to run my hip hop division. I mean, you what you've done with Famous, man. I think you could really make this into something. I can't do this. You got the talent. And then Lou talks about B-Rilla, and he's like, hey, I know you got him signed. What's up? And they were like, hey, we were getting ready to cut him. Like, we haven't been able to do anything with him. Plus, he's in jail. And now he's giving Lou the opportunity to go talk to him. And if he could get him on track, then I think they can make the deal happen. Rock goes to see Stefano, complains about Quan, and then thinks that she might be able to find a new supplier, which means enter new character at some point.
Exactly.
Or war, or just straight up war, because that's not going to go over well for folks. But then, like as I mentioned, Juke and Aisha, you know, they're just talking about everything, and that's just Aisha just basically saying she needs some time to really figure out who she is. And I have to say that Juke did sort of receive this okay and seemed kind of positive. She did kiss her, but I think I was expecting Juke to be disappointed, and she wasn't. Do you think there's more of this, or you think they're just okay?
Hey, everybody. Remember when we talked about how relatable it was what happened with Kanan and Crystal earlier in this episode? Mm-hmm. You know how relatable it is for people, for your girl to go off to college, and then all of a sudden, you know, she's not so sure about stuff anymore.
That's not where I'll go with this, but I hear you.
Try new people. We know how this goes. We understand. You in Spellman too? She probably getting the Mario coins knocked out of her on a daily basis. She needs to. She needs to find herself now. Like, come on, bro. It's college. What you expect? Like, no one is going to Spellman and settling down. That's not happening, Joe. That just does not happen.
I didn't even think of it that way. I honestly, to God, thought I was like, oh, she done got what she wanted, so she automatically out of this relationship talk.
Hey, I immediately said, nope. She had that show getting it in and like, look, this was good. This is great, but I need time to discover me. Whenever a woman says, whenever a young lady says who's off to college, they need time to discover themselves, they about to hoe it out for 2 or 3 years instead of do what they gotta do. So. It's fine. Let them do what they got to do. They just need to discover themselves, and we know how young are. Yeah. We ain't got to keep on going. We know. That's all. We know. The moment she said it, I was like, yes, you do. You in college. Discover yourself. I know what that means.
So Marvin at the bar now. He went to go see this dude. He smacks him with a pool stick. Dude tried to pull a gun on Marvin. And then dude on the ground, he says, you nigga, he's like, the white man got you sweeping up for him like a janitor. He says, you can't do nothing to me, man. I make too much money for him to get rid of me. He says, I call the shots while you run the errands. And then Marvin decided to kill him because he was offended. Did you make of anything of this? Or this is just what needed to have been done?
No, Marvin is entering into his hothead era, where he's not thinking. Stefano asked him to do one thing, and he did and took it way too far. He allowed his ego to get in play here. And I think we talked about earlier it feels dangerous for Marvin. This is what makes it feel dangerous. If you're going to let your ego rule you, you're always going to run into situations where your life is going to be on the line. And we're accustomed to Marvin thinking about things, thinking through what consequences could be. And here he just reacted to everything he acted like Kanan. He just reacted to what dude said and didn't understand like the ramifications that this could lead to.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Now enter Snaps and Pop, who has their very subtle but yet important introduction this season. There was so much that was said here that I didn't even write it all down, but I'm just going to say one thing and one thing only. Make it very clear that Snaps and Pops are the most legitimized business in town. And no one has anything bad to say about them. As Rock said, they have gotten to where they're at because they're good at what they do. Even by the number of bodies and trails that they have. I mean, they even mentioned in last season how they stayed, retirement, but because how the system runs is still self-sufficient, they was able to, finance Kanan, as it says, we own a piece of your business, to take money to make. But I've never heard that saying. I've never heard it said that way.
Which one? Take money to make money?
Yeah, because it's always like you need to spend money to make money. It's always been something more.
It take money to make money.
No, right. It does take money to make money. But that's not what she said. She said, if you take money, it makes money. It's essentially like you take our money.
You basically said hey, you know what? You know who she is? For all the folks out there who may be a little confused, you know who she is right here? Capital One. It takes money to make money. Understand.
It's the truth.
She hit Kanan with that 29.5% interest rate. What you owe us? Like, baby, this ain't no dollar for dollar loan here. You gonna have to pay. But it also shows why I absolutely love this scene.
Yeah.
It shows just how green Kanan is. You kind of let Ronnie bully you into being his partner. You didn't understand he was backed by somebody. The moment you became his partner, you were backed by them too. You took on all his debt and all his responsibility because you became his partner.
Yeah.
And Kanan, because he was so blinded for hatred for Rock, he didn't see any of this coming. And when he thought Rock was going to bail him out, my girl did exactly what I thought she was going to do. This ain't got nothing to do with me because I ain't make this deal. Rock is doing exactly what she should do. You need to understand the life that you in. You made this deal yourself. You deal with the consequences of making this deal yourself.
Yep. And I just think that when it comes down to Snaps and Pop, I mean, it's basically a lecturing section. I mean, they put them on to game. And I think, again, when you talk about Kanan and how much we all think he knows and he's this and that because it's raising Kanan, he's the man. It's like, no, Snaps and Pop pretty much puts him in this place each and every time. And it's without a doubt, it's an understanding of just how much Kanan just doesn't know. But I do think that there's a measure of respect that they have for him. And I also think, in a way, because this is a dynamic that I don't think we typically see in these type of shows. I think there's a measure of wanting to really shelter him and like just get him, like, just take him under the wing in a way that's like, this is the deal. This is the business arrangement of it. But like, we want to see him through. I think there's a measure of respect that is underlined in all of this that should be really interesting how it's played out. But like, you're not getting over on them. And Kanan outstayed his welcome. The dudes were in the back ready to pop off. Rock knew. And then here's the thing. Read Rock in this as well too. Because she don't overstep, she don't overspeak, she ain't combating. I think she has 2 lines here, and then that's it. That just lets you know somebody and somebody we respect. And not only just that, like other folks respect. When she goes to see the mafia, they respect her. Notice how she stays in her place here. So I look forward to a lot more of these moments. And actually, I look forward to seeing Snaps and Pop not sitting down in the confines of their place. I want to see them out in the streets.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that she's not being forceful here because she sees this as a lesson that Kanan needs to learn?
Yes.
Or is it fear for Snaps and Pop? I don't think it's the fear part at all.
Lesson.
Okay. Yeah.
She knows. And you know what? Don't forget Rock has history with them.
Sure
So
does.
I'm sure there's a point where she was in Kanan's shoes and she had to learn, So
Exactly.
yeah, it's definitely that. And I think that it's going to be really telling to see how that plays out going forward. Like 100%. Ooh, right now, where do we got? So yeah, is there anything else to make with that?
No, this scene was, again, it was just about Kanan understanding the structure.
Yeah.
How this works. You had a partner. You thought because your partner was dead that his debt didn't become your debt. All his debts became your debt.
Yeah,
because you're his partner.
Yeah.
And with Kanan telling them, like, I had this before, Ronnie. You definitely did, but you partnered with him.
Yeah.
So at that moment, everything he took from them became your problem.
Yeah. His debts were not paid to society, sir. Yeah. You're going to have to cough these ones up.
Blinded with anger at Raq that he even decided to partner with Ronnie. And now he's understanding the ramifications of that. As mad as he wants to be, you're still a kid.
Yeah.
Like when they had to show that force of muscle and what could happen to you, that was just to let him know, like, little nigga, you are nothing.
Yeah.
We can make another you if we need to.
Yeah.
And that's his mom stepping in, even though he got all this animosity to his mom just saved his life again.
Yeah.
By telling him, no, walk.
Yeah. Wendell and Eric are so good together for a lot of obvious reasons. But they still continue to surprise me from seeing the scene. First of all, the fashion of those two and how they their matching fashion or complementary fashion, I love. But like Snaps, I like how he told them, he said, you need to settle down and go home. Listen to your mom, son. Woo, I was like, oh,
he knew what that would do to Kanan by saying that.
you know, in a way, yes, but in a way, I think it was just a very natural response because, I mean, if it wasn't your uncle or if it wasn't the communal uncle that really wasn't your blood uncle that would have to tell you, like, you better start cutting up because your mom gonna get you straight. I think he recognizes the relationship between that mother and son. And he knows that while he has he can show a side of muscle, he knows it's even worse when he has to deal with a mother. That's why he says, like, you better listen to your mom.
Not only that, though, keep in mind, though, remember he played Kanan against Raq last season, so he knows the animosity Kanan has with Raq.
True.
So for him to now turn to Kanan and say, "You better follow your mama," that he know that sting. He know it, and he did it but he did it because that was needed for you to understand. In the end, you thought you was gonna partner with us. You thought Ronnie was gonna protect you. It's only one person that can truly protect you that we even see as a threat, and that is your mama.
Yeah,
you better go with her because she the only reason you walking out of here.
Yeah,
because if Raq wasn't there, I don't think Kanan walking out of there alive.
Yeah. And they question Kanan's loyalty, but there's no surprise with anything there. So, yeah.
My man dressed just like Cedric the Entertainer from the neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Them tracksuits, Joe. And that's I love the 90s tracksuits, bro. Like that's every drug dealer had a tracksuit on. Dapper Dan was making a killing back there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then afterwards, we just get Kanan and Raq, and Raq just essentially keeping them straight again about you listen, you ain't gotta. First thing she says, like, listen, I can work with not being able to trust my son, and I can almost live with that, but like I gotta be able to trust my business partner. Which, if you look at my interview with Bettina, she really breaks down that statement in terms of what that meant and how important that statement was. But on the other end, she says, like, we're making good money as business partners. We can make so much more, Kanan. But like, you gotta keep your head straight. And you didn't want me a part of this, but like, you may not like my decisions, but you definitely love the results. First of all, Bettina was killing it right here. This whole scene was definitely shot in probably two parts. The combining them together back to back was probably the best of this episode. Seeing all of these actors working the way they did. But anyway, Lou's in jail. He goes to see B Rilla, who's played by Party, by the way. It's nothing but
not party, not Drake's Party.
Yes.
Partisan Fontaine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it like you don't know that. I'm saying
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, for the folks out there. But yeah, this was nothing short and sweet, but he says, like, listen, we're trying to get you to work, get back to work. I get you out of jail if you down with that. Kanan and Grandma, we just get the prognosis of the cancer, the kidney cancer. It has grown to kidney and lungs, and the chemo isn't working. And while Kanan's coming in sort of in the 11th hour with some emotions, Grandma says, listen, this is just what it is. I'm dying. Marvin on the phone with Stefano, and he's talking about all he did, and it seems to be an okay conversation. Like, Stefano's kind of like, okay, I guess, no worries. But Juke comes home, he's happy, he's my baby. He says my baby back, and all is well. Never seen a side of Marvin that looked like there was any concern in that conversation. So
I don't think so. I think this is the beginning of him fully working for Stefano.
Right. Either way, but I mean, like, it wasn't.
Why would it be concerned for Stefano? I got a nigga to replace the nigga you killed.
Maybe, but that's and Marvin did say everybody's replaceable, and I do think that might be a situation of saying, well, you killed him, you might need to
replacing him. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. And Kanan and Grandma again, and this is where Kanan. This is interesting. I asked Makai this question, and I did not realize that the question was essentially answered in the second episode. But I talked about like how detrimental secrets are to the Thomas family, and then Makai said like this is just another day in the Thomas family. Everyone's holding secrets. Because I asked him, I said like, Grandma wants you to not tell the others about my cancer, and that's a big thing for him to hold, you know, considering that's their mother. Well, what is that going to do to him? But he in this moment says, I feel this is one of those secrets that you shouldn't hold on to. You should tell them. I really do think grandson's statement is definitely going to have to have a conversation with them, which is something that she says she feels like facing death may be better than facing her kids. So if she does this, it just lets you know, just again, that bond between grandkids and grandparents, that is one little statement, and he know how detrimental that is to the family, that he won her over by it. So we're gonna see what happens with that.
Secrets in families. Secrets in Black families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rock and Andre, so this is where I said Andre was talking to Rock about seeing both of them with Stefano. Rock was seeing Rock and Marvin with Stefano. And Rock was like, wait, my brother? She tried to play it all smooth as if she knew, but she was damn so surprised because she was like, I'm not understanding, but we know 100% they're going to have a conversation about that.
Oh, definitely.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Definitely.
Now the question is Marvin going to be honest about his visits with him, or is he going to not? Or are we really going to see a different side of Marvin who isn't 100% with his sister?
I think you're going to see Marvin be honest with Rock and not give a damn about her opinion on what he doing.
Ooh. That's interesting.
The difference between them. I think he will not lie, but he will tell her, this is my business. It ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah. I honestly think that he's not going to be honest, and we're just going to see a new light to him. I think he's going to I just think we're going to see a different side of him. I think he's definitely not going to be upfront about his involvement and his visits with Stefano and what they got going on.
Can I super foreshadow here? And we're not the other YouTuber who foreshadows, but watches the videos in advance to be able to foreshadow. I can see Marvin leaving to run everything for Stefano, and Kanan stepping in for Rock to take Marvin's place?
I mean, maybe, but also I will
Because
say
of the
this.
stuff from the carryouts and stuff that
Yeah.
Rock had already set up.
Okay. I also feel, I honestly also feel Juke may somehow, some way get involved with this. You know
what? That is always a possibility, but I'm still trying to hold on to Juke's innocence a little longer before she gets into. Just because Juke was very adamant, she didn't want to be in the family business.
Not until her auntie asks her.
Little
different.
We know eventually she's
there.
going to get there, but I don't think she's going to do it yet. But I can definitely see between Rock and Kanan's partnership, not relationship, of him having to step up and do what Marvin does, because Marvin leaves to work with Stefano.
What do you think? Because one thing we also need to remember, what do you think, or how do you think Juke is going to take potentially the news of her grandmother?
I don't think Juke's going to care. We've not seen any form of a relationship with her grandmother.
Not at all. But that's why I'm asking. Why do you think? Because we don't know what the relationship is. So if you had to just based on how you know those two different personalities, how do you think?
If we even pay attention to when Kanan showed up, the grandmother said, "I have not seen you in so long."
Mm-hmm.
These kids don't have a relationship with her.
No doubt.
Kanan, see, we got to pay attention that Kanan is grasping for a relationship with her because he doesn't have one with his mother.
But Juke didn't. But that's, you can say the same thing with Juke. Juke really doesn't have a relationship with her father, and definitely didn't have one with her mother.
She didn't have one with her biological mother, but she clearly has one with the woman who raised her.
So my thing is, Juke has been very forgiving to everyone around her. She hasn't held on to anything, which makes me.
I don't think she has any animosity towards her grandmother. I just don't think it'll affect her.
I don't think
there's no relationship there. What's the effect?
Yeah, I think what I'm thinking is that I think Juke is going to be. I think Juke is probably going to make the best of her time with this. I think we may start to see her also try.
There you go. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
the person who this is going to break, absolutely break,
Rock.
Yep,
it's 100% Rock.
Absolutely break.
She gonna act. Yeah, she gonna act all big and bad. Like this don't mean nothing.
Either that or Lou.
Yeah.
Because Lou was the one who's always giving his mom money no matter what. He was always going to make sure she was fine.
But Rock is the one that always tried to have the attitude with her, and they were very disrespectful to one another. Which is why you think that. Well, regardless, though, she's still her daughter.
That's what I mean. It may not weigh on Juke that much at all. Juke may be like, okay, so that means we need to get everything in order. Kanan is looking for another parental figure, and he's latching onto his grandmother. But Rock and Lou have to deal with losing their mother. I think Marvin is almost at the point where he feels he's lost both of his parents already.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the last parts of this episode real quick. So as I mentioned, Andre talked about seeing them both with Stefano, and then the feds wanting to get a deal because they want information with Stefano. That will basically be a FBI get out of jail for free card. But Rock saying she ain't gonna snitch, but we'll see if that might be a little different. If she has to get a player off the board, would she go that route? I don't know. Anyway, we go back to the bar / speakeasy, whatever. Be Real on stage. Crystal shows up. They make up. Lou and Shirley are talking as usual. But then she also points to Lowell being in the back corner for Lou. Andre and Rock talking about Lou had me get somebody out of jail. That's not under our agreement, so I will be sending you a bill for that. And Rock asking about one day you're gonna tell me all of your connections and all that. They have a good little happy moment, and she says, "I still need you." Now, granted, I don't want to hear it in the comments. I don't want to hear it in Facebook groups or on Twitter, X, whatever. Rock did not have the rock eyes for him. Under no circumstance was there anything romantic here. Go back to
Rock
all
wanted
Rock
business.
Eyes with all business. Go to Rock Eyes with Unique. Go to Rock Eyes with Symphony. That's those were not here. So
if you saw Rock Eyes, it was because I need your connections.
Yeah,
that's all Rock cared about.
And honestly, I had like the utmost interest here, as I said in the beginning. I really wanted to see just the length of his connections, and this was definitely how they wrote this had to make everybody interested. It's like, man, you got somebody at the jail, you got somebody at the FBI, you got somebody at the police station, like you got all these sorts of things. He's like, yeah, I can't tell you who they are because like you wouldn't need me, but in fact, they smoothed that over and said you still need me. But he's super valuable to her. So on one point, I'm interested about the character, but on the other hand, Rock not having that person in her corner, that is a huge gap and problem right there. Yeah, so who knows? But coming up to the last two scenes.
Let me say something real quick about that scene. This is why we do this recap review, and this is why we're partners in doing this recap review. Because he did amazing job of focusing on Rock and all of them. And my entire focus was on Party Fontaine spitting some of the worst bars I've ever heard in my life. And everyone acting like that was a great song. And I'm like, my God.
I'll say this though, at least the delivery was there. It's better than I don't know. OG Streets Need a Body. Famous was rocking.
Yeah. Like, dog, are we not gonna get any quality close to Famous Streets Need a Body, the original Streets Need a Body? Because this was horrible, and I'm listening to people talk about how good he is. Like, what are y'all listening to here? Even I grew up in the 90s, so it's not a 90s hip hop thing. He was not good at all. Maybe he's better when Cardi B spits his rhymes, but this here was trash. But again, that's why we partners here, because all my focus is on why is he still up there rapping, and why is it so bad, and why is his scene so long, and why are we focusing on him rapping these horrible lyrics?
You gave that more attention than I was gonna go. But anyway, yeah, they go back to the bar again. Be Real is still up there. Long story short, Lou got the deal. Danes are in motion now. Now in the last scene, we see Andre walking home. Unique appears behind him. Unique, in a very jealous fashion, says, "Are you fucking her? Because if you're fucking her, I'm sure she's fucking you," and kills him. That's the end of the episode. I will say one thing that we really don't discuss in any of our recaps is we kind of don't go over 50 Cent's commentary, because he definitely has some very precise things to say in both the start and the end of the episode, which is cool. But I think that it's always up to everyone's interpretation, but it's always very direct. So I don't think there's so much time to.
It's narration.
Yeah.
It's not much to pick from narration of what he's saying.
Yeah.
Everything is super direct into a consequence of leading to something.
Exactly.
If you can't get that, we can't spend 10-15 minutes explaining to you consequences of things. No, that's not going to happen. It's way more interesting to discuss the actions of the characters and how the plot is moving, because that's what's interesting here. In this end part, I was not intrigued at all of what 50 was saying at the end. I was very much intrigued of Unique saying, if you're fucking her, she's fucking you.
Yeah, and because of what he said last episode, he says that anybody that Rock is fucking with, she ends up fucking him over, and he feels like he was betrayed. So him killing Andre, I don't know why, but jealousy, and also he's a little bit off. He's unhinged, so yeah, everybody can catch a bullet.
And so why does he feel Rock fucked him over?
Because he feels Rock done stole the business from under him.
But I mean, beyond,
who also said she was out of the game too, by the way.
That's the insane jealousy part, because he's missing gaps in between.
Mm-hmm.
And because of those gaps that he's missing in between, he automatically assumes that she set up Ronnie to shoot you to take your business.
Yeah.
Because you would have to leave out one equivalence of you not being there at all. You being taken off of the board should ring more prominent than anything else Rock did. But he's not seeing it that way. So why is he not seeing it that way? That's the more interesting part.
And that's the thing. I think we're going to see, much like how Ronnie was going around playing Michael Myers, I think we're going to see Unique going to go visit any and everybody who has a connection to the business and to Rock, and they're just down the board.
Different ways. Unique is going at it like Chucky. Like everything is in your face. All I need him to do is to do the Tambila Bella. Give me the power, I beg of you. That's all I need you to do. I'm good.
Oh man. All right, that's gonna do it for tonight. Next week's episode is episode 3. That episode is titled Bygones. So that one's going to air March 21st, written by Michael M. Chang and directed
interesting
by Crystal
name for an episode.
Robertson. Huh?
Anybody knows what Bygones? Bygones is never said by itself. So and that's a truce in some very interesting episode title. Just to see where that goes to. That's interesting, actually.
But yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning in to this recap. Definitely get in the comments as always. I don't even know why I have to tell you all because you all do it anyway. But get in the comments. Lucas also get in the comments and respond back to comments directed to you. I'm not no longer making
towards me.
Yes, you do because you acknowledge it because you tell me you see it. So as much as I tell as much as I tell everybody to be in the comments and interact, Lucas get in the comments and interact as well to comments.
You know what? I'm gonna have a drink one night and I'm gonna get in them comments. You know what? This episode airs at midnight, and a lot of y'all either watch it at midnight or I think it airs on Stars Live at 9 p.m. Sunday.
That's not a thing anymore.
It does air live. When does it air live on Stars now?
I don't think at 9, but who cares?
Yeah, it's still 9 p.m. Sunday. I'm saying it for a reason. It's still 9 p.m. Sunday. I believe it airs on Stars Live. We're going to look it up. Whenever it airs on Stars Live, I will be in the comment section for that entire hour moving forward when it airs live on Stars. And if y'all want to talk, I'm all for it. We could do like a little, in the comment section, a little live chat and just go and have fun. That's why I asked. I've not seen the episode live in God knows how long. But whenever it airs live, I will be in the chat and we can all talk while y'all are watching it as a happy family. For people who don't like stream it or watch it on the Stars app. See?
You say so. Next week we'll be the judge. But I appreciate everybody coming in tonight, and we'll see you all back. Coming over, hanging out with us, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all back next week for another recap show. Thank you for watching, folks.